Welcome to Confessions of a Caregiver. Oh, kidding. This is T of Bed Crime Stories. I am taking care of my dad. I've never had a harder day in my life, but enough about me. Hey, do me a favor, please like this video. It helps a lot, so smash that like button and please subscribe to the channel. Those are free ways you can help me. And if you want to support my work, please consider a Patreon membership. The more unsealed documents come to light in the Idaho 4 case, the more we start to get a better picture of what exactly went down inside 1122 King Road just after 4 a.m. on November 13th of 2022. That's the horrible morning when Bryan Kohberger entered the home and savagely took the lives of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Gonsalves. Kohberger, who may have been trying to commit the perfect crime, likely screwed up because of the actions of one of the victims, and it may not be who you think. It's looking like Xana Kernodle, after retrieving her DoorDash order from the Jack-in-the-Box from the ground level of the multi-level rental home, encountered Bryan Kohberger as she was returning upstairs. New information from the DoorDash driver and from survivor Dylan Mortensen suggests that Xana was actually all the way up on the third floor just before and after the murders of Madison and Kaylee. The DoorDash driver was apparently confused about the address and reported seeing a young woman on the third floor of the home in the bathroom. And she saw this woman up there multiple times, and she said that the person ducked out of sight each time. The driver said that the female had long brown hair, so it would have had to have been Xana. Now, I'm not sure why the driver said the person ducked out of sight each time, but some are saying that perhaps Xana was up on the third floor trying to keep an eye out of the front window, the front-facing window, to keep an eye out for the DoorDash delivery person. As Xana was looking out that window, Bryan Kohberger was driving around the neighborhood in his white Elantra. Remember, he drove past the house multiple times. Now, it's believed that Kohberger entered the home through the sliding door in the back, which leads into the kitchen, and it's believed that he went in there just after Xana's food delivery was placed at the front door of the home at 4 a.m., and that front door was on the lowest level. So Xana went down to the lowest level, right near where Bethany Funk's bedroom was, to grab her DoorDash as Kohberger was entering the house on the second floor and walking into the kitchen. Dylan Mortensen told the police that she heard somebody, she thought it was Kaylee, say, "Somebody is here," in a frightened voice after Kohberger entered the home. Dylan then heard someone she thought was Kaylee running on the stairs to the third floor where Madison Mogen's bedroom was. The person Dylan heard running was probably not Kaylee, and instead was probably Xana, who perhaps rushed up to the third floor to help Kaylee after she heard those words, and then, once Xana saw Kohberger, she probably turned around and took off running down the stairs, trying to make it back to her bedroom on the second floor before Kohberger caught up with her. If Kohberger did in fact chase after Xana and chase her down those stairs, this is probably the reason he left behind the K-bar sheath on Maddie's bed. We know that Xana probably ran like hell, and then once cornered just inside her bedroom, unable to lock the door and close it before Kohberger confronted her, she then put up a ferocious fight to save her life. Sergeant Shane Gunderson noted in his incident report that Xana was the only victim who was not found in bed and there was a lot of blood cast off on the walls in various places, including above Xana's body, which we know ended up on the floor face up. Xana endured 50 stab wounds, which covered her body, and most of those were defensive wounds. She ultimately died from a laceration in her right lung and 2 lacerations in her heart. So Xana fought as hard as she could, and this may very well explain why Kohberger did not attack Dylan Mortensen when he apparently looked straight into her eyes when she cracked her bedroom door open on the 2nd floor, and she opened it for the 3rd time, and right at that 3rd time, she locked eyes with this guy as he was heading out of the home. This would seem to imply that he was probably exhausted after having to fight Xana. He's running through the house, he's chasing her down the stairs, and then she's fighting him with everything she's got, and he was probably just absolutely worn out after all of that. And it was probably the commotion of that fight that led Dylan to open her door that 3rd time. A friend of Kohberger's apparently told the cops that he saw Bryan with scratches all over his face and knuckles right around the time of the crime. Those were likely inflicted by Xana. I wish she could have ripped his eyes out. I'm sorry, I have no mercy for this guy. Now here's another thing that was in this report. It was said that Xana had been stabbed so many times that Dylan initially identified Xana as Kaylee when questioned by the cops. So yes, Dylan was asked to ID the body that was on the floor just inside Xana's room. Now I have no idea why Dylan would have mistaken Xana for Kaylee, since it was in Xana's bedroom, and Kaylee has blonde hair, and Xana was a brunette, but again, there was a lot of blood apparently. And it's also possible that Dylan was still in shock. I mean, she wasn't expecting 4 people in the house that night to have been murdered. And she was intoxicated apparently when she went to bed, so she was confused. And then the shock of hearing that these people are dead, well, it's understandable that she could have made that mistake. So Kohberger leaves the house after this fight, and now they're saying that it's likely that he took Xana's food order with him out of the kitchen door. So could this explain why Dylan said she saw the masked man exit with a package in his hand? Now, to me, I'm not sure of this, but I say that there was a photo taken of the kitchen in the beginning, and you could see a food bag, a delivery bag in the kitchen on the counter. I just assumed that that was Xana's food. So I'm a little confused now to hear that they think that Kohberger not only took Xana's life, but he also took her food order. But in the end, it sounds like it was probably Xana Kernodle that we can thank for this crime being solved, if she is indeed the reason that Bryan Kohberger got sloppy, messed up his perfect crime, and left the leather sheath behind on Maddie Milligan's bed. I'm glad to see Xana get some props, because it feels like sometimes she's lost in the whole sea of these victims because her family really hasn't been as vocal per se as the other families. And she was obviously just as loved, just as precious as the other victims. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you next time on Bed Crime Stories. If you heard a sound in the background, that's because my dad now has an oxygen machine. So there's no way to escape the sound of that oxygen machine. I do apologize. But for now, I have to be with my dad because he truly needs me. Hey, smash that like button, and I'll